If you think you love banana bread, then get ready to love it even more. Today we're making matcha banana bread. It's really easy, so delicious, and you're gonna love making it. Let's jump in. So today is my filming day, but I don't think my bananas are very ripe yet. I put them in this paper bag yesterday, and they actually did improve. Yesterday I should have taken a picture. They were, 100% green. So that's okay. We're gonna do a little trick today that ripens them in the oven before we mash them together with everything else. This recipe calls for 2 really large bananas, but should be between 350 and 375 grams without the peel. So what we're going to do to ripen it in the oven is on a parchment paper lined baking sheet. We're actually going to peel these, and you can stick them in the oven without peeling them and wait till peel turns nice and brown, signifying that it's ripe. But we're going to do it a little bit differently today. So we peeled our bananas. We're going to put them in the oven while the oven preheats. This way we don't have to wait for them to bake or do anything that requires extra time. We now need to brown some butter. We're using half a cup of butter here, or 1 stick. To help it brown faster, we're going to cut it into little cubes. Over medium-high heat, get your butter added to the pan. As soon as you start to see bubbles and hear popping, turn your heat to medium-low. You don't want the butter to burn. If you're a multitasker, while your butter is starting to brown, you can gather the rest of your ingredients. You're looking for these milk solids to be nice and browned. All right, our butter is browned. So what we're going to do is transfer your brown butter to a bowl. And then depending on the type of pan you use, you may see all of those brown bits are actually sticking. And what you can do is grab a tablespoon of water, this won't mess up the recipe, and mix it around like this. And then taking a spatula, you can see that it actually picked up all of these browned bits. So there is our nice browned butter. We're gonna set this aside to cool for just a few before we combine everything else. Our oven just came to temp, which means it's time to check on the bananas. So they are getting nice and brown, which is what we want. They smell really fragrant. We're actually just going to sprinkle them with a tiny bit of sugar. That sugar is just going to add to the caramelization process, and it's going to speed it up just a little bit. Okay, these are only gonna need a few more minutes. You don't want the sugar to start burning, so plop them in the oven, and then we're gonna get everything else mixed up. All right, it's smelling good in here, so now we are just about ready to combine everything. My dog's a little restless today, so if you hear him, I'm sorry. It's a little bit cold, so we can't go outside. Okay, as you guys saw, I put this dry ingredient bowl together while I was waiting for my butter to brown. The last thing we need to add is the matcha. I have some culinary grade matcha here, and most stores sell this, but you can buy matcha online. We're going to do 1.5 tablespoons. So in here for my dry ingredients, I have 1.5 cups of flour, 1.5 tablespoons of matcha, a pinch of sea salt, about half a teaspoon of baking powder, and half a teaspoon of baking soda. Okay, we have a nice minty green looking flour mixture, which means everything is well distributed. As it stands, this bowl has 1/2 cup of dark brown sugar, or about 90 grams, 1 large egg, and a full 2 teaspoons of vanilla. I use vanilla paste because I love how much flavor it adds to things, but feel free to add vanilla extract if that's all you have. So going in with my brown butter now. It smells so good in this kitchen. I'm going to add the bananas in chunk by chunk, just so they can get mashed up really easily. I always start on low when I'm adding the bananas, and then I kind of speed up as I go. You can see that because we baked them, they were really soft, and it was fairly easy to incorporate them, which cannot be said for a green banana. I used all but this little bit here, so we're actually just gonna save this. So now we're going to add in our dry ingredients, and I like to just kind of go a little bit slow, maybe 1/4 at a time. That's really good. Okay, we need a bread pan. We're just going to be putting in some salted butter, or plain butter, or oil, or you can use parchment paper, but this is what I have on my counter, so this is what we're gonna use. And we're just going to butter this so that the bread can come out really easily once it's done. So go ahead and press it into the sides, make sure it's nice and evenly spread. And then the last step is just to sprinkle the top with a little bit of sugar. This adds just a little bit of extra flavor and creates kind of a crunchy top, which is very fun. All right, we gotta get this into the oven. 35 minutes later, and a costume change because in the cleanup process, I spilled a bunch of matcha all over myself. It's time to check our banana bread. Let's do it. But we came out clean, so we are going to let this settle for just 2 minutes in this pan, and then we're gonna get it onto a cooling rack. This smells fantastic, it looks fantastic. Hopefully it tastes fantastic. We are going to let this cool for 15 or 20 minutes or so while I wrap up. Sometimes baked goods just need a little bit of time to cool off and they'll taste that much better. And that's usually true with banana bread. The matcha flavor will intensify as it cools a little bit on your counter, and it's a perfect excuse to make a cup of tea, a cup of coffee, whip up that whipped cream that we talked about. Overall, treat yourself when you go ahead and try it. We got some huge chunks of banana in there, which is so delicious and one of my favorite parts. And I always serve mine with a little extra butter, so let's do it. And I'll take the end piece. I know people don't like it. Well, this is a tried and true favorite of mine. I love this banana bread. The matcha is lightly there, the banana is sweet, everything combined, it is a great variation on banana bread. I hope you guys give this one a try, and if you do, please let me know in the comments below. Thank you so much for watching. B-A-N-A-N-A-S, banana bread with matcha.